Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a calm and steady moment today. Take a slow breath and allow your mind to settle for a moment. Have you ever listened to fast English and felt like everything was too quick to follow? Like the words came and disappeared before you could understand them? You try to focus. You try to catch the meaning, but something feels difficult. The sentence moves too fast, the sounds feel unclear, and before you understand one part, the next part has already passed. And in that moment, you may feel frustrated. Why is this so hard? Why can I understand slow English, but not fast conversation? Many learners experience this. They study, they practice listening, they understand simple English, but when the speed increases, everything feels different. Too fast, too connected, too unfamiliar, and this creates doubt. You may begin to wonder if you are doing something wrong. But here's something very important to understand. The problem is not speed. The problem is familiarity. Fast English feels difficult because your brain is not used to it yet. When something is unfamiliar, your brain needs more time to process it. But fast English does not give you that time. So your brain falls behind. And when it falls behind, you lose the meaning. This is why everything feels too fast. Not because it is impossible, but because your brain is still adjusting. Think about your native language. When someone speaks quickly, you can still understand because your brain is familiar with the patterns. It recognizes words instantly. It follows the flow without effort. But in English, these patterns are still new. They are still developing. So your brain needs more time. And when it does not have enough time, understanding becomes difficult. Another important idea is pattern recognition. Language is not about individual words. It is about patterns, common phrases, common sentence structures. When you hear these patterns many times, your brain stores them as a whole. And when your brain stores patterns, it can recognize them quickly. This is what makes fast English easier, not speed, but familiarity with patterns. Another key point is reducing effort. At first, listening requires a lot of effort. You try to understand every sound. You try to follow every word. But this is not how natural listening works. Natural listening is about recognizing patterns quickly, without thinking, without translating. And this ability comes from repetition. When you hear the same patterns again and again, your brain becomes faster. It becomes more efficient. And slowly, fast English begins to feel slower. Another important idea is letting go of control. Many learners try to control the listening process. They want to understand everything immediately. But this creates pressure, and pressure slows your brain down. So instead of controlling, allow the language to flow. Focus on the general meaning. Let some parts be unclear. This helps your brain stay relaxed, and a relaxed brain processes faster. At this point, you may begin to see something clearly. Understanding fast English is not about trying harder. It is about training your brain to recognize patterns quickly. And this takes time. It takes repetition. It takes exposure. But the good news is, your brain is capable of this. It already knows how to learn language. It just needs the right experience. But there is still something important we need to understand. How can we train our brain to follow fast English naturally? How can we make this process easier and more effective? And this is where the story begins to go deeper. From feeling overwhelmed to building natural speed, now that we understand why fast English feels difficult, we can begin to explore how to train your brain to follow it more naturally. The goal is not to catch every word. The goal is to stay with the flow of meaning. The first step is to build familiarity before speed. Many learners try to jump directly into fast English. They listen to real conversations without preparation. But this often creates confusion because the patterns are still new. So instead of starting with speed, start with familiarity. Listen to the same material many times. Understand it slowly first, then return to it again. As your brain becomes familiar, the speed begins to feel easier. The second step is to use repeated listening. Repetition is the key to speed. When you hear the same sentence again and again, your brain begins to recognize it instantly, not word by word, but as a whole. This reduces processing time. And when processing time decreases, you can follow faster speech. The third step is to change your listening focus. Do not listen in the same way every time. Sometimes listen for the main idea. Sometimes listen for key phrases. Sometimes just listen without trying too hard. This keeps your brain flexible. And flexibility helps you follow speed. The fourth step is to accept missing parts. In fast English, you will not catch everything. This is normal. Even native speakers do not focus on every word. They focus on meaning. So instead of trying to catch everything, focus on what you understand. Let the rest go. This reduces pressure. And when pressure is reduced, your brain becomes faster. The fifth step is to stop translating. Translation creates delay. When you translate, you add an extra step, and this makes fast English harder to follow. So practice connecting sound directly to meaning. This takes time, but it becomes easier with repetition. The sixth step is to listen actively and passively. Active listening helps you understand structure. Passive listening builds familiarity. Both are important. When combined, they create strong listening ability. The seventh step is to gradually increase speed exposure. Do not force yourself to jump to very fast content. Start with slightly slower speech. Then move to normal speed. Then expose yourself to faster conversation. This gradual approach helps your brain adapt. The eighth step is to trust your brain. Your brain is designed to recognize patterns. It becomes faster with repetition. Even if you feel slow now, you are improving. Another important idea is patience. Speed does not come immediately. It develops over time. Through consistent listening, through repeated exposure. Another key point is consistency. Listening a little every day is more powerful than listening a lot once, because your brain needs regular input, and regular input builds speed. Another important idea is relaxation. If you feel tense, your brain becomes slower. But if you feel relaxed, your brain processes faster. So create a calm listening environment. Allow your mind to stay open. At this point, you may begin to notice something different. Fast English does not feel as overwhelming. You begin to follow parts of the conversation. You begin to recognize familiar patterns. And this is progress. But there is still one important part left. How do we make this ability stable? How do we reach a point where fast English feels natural? And this is where the story moves forward. From training your brain to transforming your listening speed. So now we come to the final part of this story. How can you continue improving until fast English feels natural and comfortable? Because understanding the process is only the beginning. The real change happens when your listening becomes automatic. The first step is to stay close to natural English. Do not avoid fast speech. Do not stay only with slow and simple audio. You need to hear real English regularly. At first it feels difficult, but over time your brain adapts. And this adaptation is the key to speed. The second step is to build tolerance for speed. Fast English may feel overwhelming, but your brain can adjust. If you stay with it, if you return to it again and again, each time it becomes a little easier. The third step is to continue repeated exposure. Listening once is not enough. You need many repetitions. Each repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity reduces difficulty. The fourth step is to trust gradual progress. You may not notice change immediately, but something is happening. You begin to recognize phrases faster. You begin to follow meaning more easily. These changes are small, but they grow over time. The fifth step is to connect listening with real life. Do not limit listening to study time. Let English exist in your daily routine. While walking, while resting, create natural exposure. This makes learning continuous. The sixth step is to reduce fear of missing information. You will not understand everything. This is normal. Let go of the need to be perfect. Focus on meaning. This keeps your mind relaxed, and a relaxed mind processes faster. The seventh step is to allow your brain to work naturally. Do not force understanding. Do not push too hard. Give your brain time. Give it repetition, and allow it to adjust. Another important idea is confidence. Confidence grows from experience. Each time you understand a little more, your confidence increases, and confidence helps you stay with fast English. Another key point is consistency. Listening every day builds speed. Even a short time is enough, because your brain learns through regular exposure. Another important idea is balance. Do not only listen to difficult content. Mix easier material with faster material. This keeps your learning stable and prevents frustration. Over time, something begins to change. Fast English no longer feels impossible. You begin to follow conversations. You understand without translating. And in that moment, you realize something important. Speed is no longer your problem. It has become something natural. And this is the result of everything you have done. Not one big effort, but many small and consistent steps. So if you remember one thing from this story, remember this. Understanding fast English is not about talent. It is about familiarity. It is about repetition. It is about patience. Stay with the language. Listen again and again. Allow your brain to adapt. And over time, fast English will feel natural. Thank you for spending this time with the story. And as always, see you in the next story.